Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Patty Artessa, and I'm from AAA Northeast. I'm a director in government affairs, and thank you so much for joining our webinar on the center of it all, exploring the New York Central region with countless quaint main streets, unlimited outdoor adventures, craft beverages, foodie havens, and more. New York Central region has it all. Learn from experts about all the area has to offer and get tips for planning your next upstate New York adventure. Today's moderators are Elizabeth Carey, and she is from AAA Western and Central New York. She's the Director also of Public and Government Affairs. Unfortunately, Elizabeth today is not on video. However, she is here in spirit and on her cell phone. And today's speakers are Judy Hess from Visit Binghamton, Kelly Blasowski from Oneida County Tourism, Scott Flattery from Madison County Tourism, and Cassandra Harrington is the Destination Marketing Corporation for Otsego County and Schoharie County. Go ahead, Elizabeth.
Oh, thank you so much, Patty. I'm actually thrilled to be here today. I'm so excited because Central New York is one of my favorite places to visit, and I know we'll all learn some new secret treasures today. So it's my pleasure to introduce Judy Hess. Judy has served as Director of Visit Binghamton for more than 4 years. Before taking the leadership role and unveiling a new direction for the organization, she handled its tourism and events for more than 20 years. Visit Binghamton focuses on increasing tourism in Broome County, New York. Now, as we know, tourism is an ever-changing industry with new initiatives and opportunities, and Judy welcomes every chance to learn and take on new challenges throughout her community. Visit Binghamton focuses on tourism promotion, consumer marketing, cooperative advertising programs, and opportunities for professional planners to host sporting groups, conventions, and tour groups. Judy also serves as president of Central New York Tourism Region. We're pleased to welcome her here today, and I'm sure we'll learn about some of those hidden treasures right here in Central New York. Judy?
Thank you very much. It's great to be here today, and for 2 more months, I get to serve as the regional's president, which is why I get to go first and introduce our region overall. We are a region that is made up of 8 counties, and they are Broome, Chenango, Herkimer, Madison, Montgomery, Oneida, Otsego, and Schoharie. For 5 of the counties will be represented today, and you will hear individually about our own counties that are made up. But some of the things that we're famous for, you can see on the slide, we've got gorgeous waterfalls, we've got city centers, and of course we have famous attractions like the Baseball Hall of Fame and a lot of other things. What we decided to do as a region about 5 years ago, I guess, was to really market ourselves based on experience, the location we have within the state, but also our experiences. If you could move the slide forward. Thanks, Mark. One of the first ones that we launched was Brew Central. We found that one of the things that all 8 counties had in common was alcohol. That's not a bad thing. We know that wine tours are really popular, but we also knew that the craft beverage market was something that was growing. So we created this brand called Brew Central, and it goes throughout our entire region. And we actually do have 2 additional counties of Onondaga County, which is the Syracuse area, and Tioga County that participate in Brew Central with us. So this features our craft beverage partners, breweries, distilleries, wineries, hard cideries, all of those are included in our Brew Central campaign. And we love our little tagline to see what's on tap in Central New York. Next slide, please. One of the other ideas that we came up with that seems especially timely right now was our outdoor adventure. The 8 counties are very different in a lot of ways, but one of the things that we're very similar is our great scenic beauty, the outdoor assets that we have, and the wonderful things that visitors can participate in. And especially now in this time of COVID, outdoor activities are safer and they're a preferred thing for people to do. Our central location and our wide variety of activities makes us a perfect place for you guys to check out. We've got great places to fish, play, bike. There are great places for canoeing and kayaking. And all of those experiences are listed on our website. So you can look for the thing that you're interested in. If you're interested in birding, you can see where in central New York you can actually get some really great spots to see beautiful birds. Next slide. And the last one that we promote is our CNY Fresh, and that is our agritourism, but it's more than just the agritourism and the farm visits. It's the farm to table fresh experience that you can find in so many restaurants throughout the region. This is a great campaign that, again, is very timely, especially now. This time of year, you can be out there apple picking, going through a corn maze, doing a lot of great family activities in a safe environment, and really kind of getting back in tune with nature. We love knowing where our food comes from, and in central New York, we make it a focus to show you all of the great assets that we have under that agritourism umbrella. Next slide, please. All right, now I'm changing hats and I'm jumping into Broome County. As was mentioned in my bio, we did rebrand in 2016 to launch the new look that you see in front of you today. Visit Binghamton, be part of our story. Tourism is all about telling a story, whether it's me telling you the story of my county or you telling your story once you experience something and you share it with your friends and family. Next slide. This is kind of the boring, mundane stuff that people don't always think about, but when you're looking through our website, you will see this, and we do take our mission very, very seriously. We are the official tourism marketing agency for Broome County, and we work to bring business into the area to benefit the county economically. That is basically what any tourism agency does anywhere, but we are the official one for Broome County. As most of you know, being AAA members or AAA agents, I Love New York has 62, New York State has 62 counties, and I Love New York works with 62 official agencies to promote tourism, and we are the official agency for Broome County. And then we are always working to enhance our position to really get the word out to the rest of the world, because we know that we're a premier tourism destination, and we just want to share that word with everyone else and get them to come and see what we have to offer. Next, please. So we have got so many different things going on in our area. One of the things we noticed when we were rebranding is that we have a strong history. IBM started in Broome County. Edwin Link created the Blue Box flight simulator in Broome County. So we had a lot of visionaries in the past that were kind of laying the groundstone for us. And now what's happening is we're seeing that new young entrepreneurs are picking up that baton and moving forward and doing more and more of the innovation. We have got rich history and culture. We've got an opera and a philharmonic and all sorts of activities in the area. And then we have fun stuff for people to do, as I mentioned before, apple picking or going down the river on a kayak. Next slide, please. These are some of the fun things that are really unique to us and I love talking about. We are the carousel capital of the world. We have 6 antique carousels in our county that were given to us as a gift by the owners of Endicott Johnson Shoes. They were given to the community with the understanding that there would never be a charge to ride. So they are all available, free to ride for people. They're normally open Memorial Day through Labor Day, and they're located in parks, so there's no admission to get in, and you can take a ride on a magical merry-go-round. Rod Serling, the creator of the Twilight Zone, was born in Syracuse, but grew up in Binghamton and always referred to Binghamton as his hometown. So we're really proud of the legacy that Rod Serling has left here. One of the episodes of the Twilight Zone was based on his childhood at Recreation Park. It's called Walking Distance. If you haven't seen it yet, I invite you to take a look and watch it, and you'll kind of feel like you're in Binghamton. And then, as I mentioned earlier, the Blue Box training through Link Flight Simulation was invented here. Every year in September, most every year in September, we have a great projection arts festival that takes over the buildings in downtown Binghamton, where art is actually projected upon our great architecture, and you kind of lose sight of the building because you get wrapped up in the projection art story that's being portrayed before you. It's a great event, normally takes place in early September, and I highly recommend it. It's extremely unique. You'll find nothing else like it so far in the United States. And then Speedies. Once you're done looking at all those attractions, you're going to be hungry, and Speedies is kind of our signature dish. So we invite you to have a Speedy, either as a sandwich, which is the original, or on a salad if you're watching your carbs. Next slide, please. These are some of our top attractions, and I am so proud that we are home to Animal Adventure Park. I think a lot of the world fell in love with a giraffe named April when she was giving birth a few years ago, and she lives right here in Broome County. And right now we have hopefully another pregnant giraffe in Schoharie. She's giving us a hard time figuring out if she's 100% pregnant, but we're leaning that way. But Animal Adventure is a great interactive park that you can go and feed all the animals and learn a lot about the animals, but also efforts to conserve them. And they do a lot of fundraising efforts to help with conservation. And then some of our great museums, the Roberson Museum and Science Center, the Phelps Mansion, and the Bundy, all very unique, all very different, and they're all now on the Haunted History Trail. Chuckster's Family Fun Park is a great place for the family to go. They have the longest mini golf hole in the country. So if you're, that's your game, we're challenging you right there at Chuckster's. And then again, the craft beverages and the locally sourced restaurants that use locally sourced food. Next slide. Outdoor adventure, this is a perfect time to talk about it. And as I talked with the region at a county level, we have partnered with Broome County government, and there's a website called Go All Out Broome that you can go on there and again, look for the area of interest that you're looking for. If you're looking for hiking trails, they actually grade the trails to beginner, to moderate, and whatever level. They point out the things along the way, if there's rest areas or things like that. So it's a really helpful website. Next slide, please. And then I did mention a little bit about our arts and culture, and we are really blessed. We have some great public art, and we've got more public art coming in the form of murals. And we are looking at something right now in our downtown area called the Deco District. We're going to actually transform downtown Binghamton so that you are in an arts district. There's going to be colors and lights and a lot of branding that'll really make downtown even more fun than it is today. And the majority of our restaurants are in downtown Binghamton, and every restaurant in downtown Binghamton is privately owned. It's a local restaurant, not a chain. Next slide. I mentioned when we rebranded, we came up with being part of our story. And what we wanted to do was to reach out to a lot of our partners and get their story, to learn about the restaurant that used to be in a cigar factory, or the restaurant that was in a garage and is now called the Garage Taco Bar. So we dug into their history to learn a lot more about them. And I'm going to play a short video right now to show you kind of a snippet of what those stories are like.
The neat thing about our community, there are festivals and fairs and cultural events literally going on every weekend. And so no matter when you visit, there's something to do. You just have to scratch underneath the surface to find it and see why we all love Binghamton.
The difference in a place like Binghamton that has grown, that has made big progress, is you go out on a Tuesday night and there is life. And there's that sense of there's so much to do that now the destination is no longer the individual restaurant, the individual bar, but it is the vibe of downtown.
I see Binghamton as that next type of movement.
When you live somewhere for a long time and you've seen the downtimes and then you start to see things grow back up and be strong and be proud, I see the progress that we're making every day, and I just want to share it with the world.
I'm Tice Lerner, co-founder of Luma.
I'm Jordan Patch, owner of Animal Adventure Park.
My name is Joshua Bernard. I'm the co-founder of Luma.
I'm Judy Hess, director of Visit Binghamton.
And I invite you to be part of our story.
And I invite you to be part of our story.
Thank you, Mark. And there are lots more stories. If you go on our website, right on the very front homepage, it says Bing Stories, and I invite you to watch them all because they're really quite entertaining and quite informative. And then, as I mentioned, to kind of wrap up my thing, and I think I'm right on time, which never happens because I talk so much and so fast, we are proud to be a part of the Central New York region, and we're proud of the programming and the identity that we've built up over the last 5 to 10 years. And again, these are our keynote address areas that we market in as a region, and we hope you come and check us out. Thank you.
Thank you, Judy. Excellent. Can't wait to visit.
Thanks.
Next, we're going to hear from Kelly Blazowski. She's the president of Oneida County Tourism and has been a DMO executive for over 20 years. The Convention and Visitor Bureau for Oneida County, Inc., doing business as Oneida County Tourism, is a private, not-for-profit corporate established in 1984. Oneida County Tourism is the county's official destination marketing organization focused on building Oneida County's economy and positive images through travel industry development and the promotion of attractions, events, and experiences on a local, regional, and a global basis. Welcome, Kelly.
Thank you so much, Patty. Great introduction, Judy, and great overview of Binghamton. Likewise, here in Oneida County, we are really proud to be a part of the Central New York vacation region and work with all of our partners. We have an amazing region, and it's wonderful to get this opportunity to showcase it with your members and encourage them to visit. So we'll go ahead and take a look at the Utica, Rome, and the Sylvan Verona Beach area. Our travel guide, this is a cover of this year's guide. We do produce one. This year we do have it in print and it is available. We are sending them out and you can order that online at our website, which we'll have at the end. And it's also available online in a digital format that you can flip through or download. But we're easily accessible from New York State Thruway, the I-90, exits 31 through 34. And you can see there that we're easy proximity, about 90 minutes from Albany, 4 hours from Boston, 3 from Buffalo. New York City, only about 4.5 hours if you drive or if you take the Amtrak. We have a beautiful station in Utica, historic Union Station, and about 5 hours from Philadelphia. Next slide. We have a wide variety of accommodations here for when you do arrive and stay for a while with us. Beautiful bed and breakfast. That's Blueberry Brook you see. And then in the middle is a historic property. It's the Hotel Utica. It's now a DoubleTree. Beautiful historic property, very well done. And then a wide variety of camping and cabin experiences throughout the county as well. That is an image of the tree house at Wellness Day Lodge and Sanctuary. So they have a wide variety of things you can stay in, from happy camper buses to tree houses. Next slide, please. So now I'll go through really our attractions and what not to miss when you're in the area. You know, one of the most popular is the Adirondack Scenic Railroad. It departs from Union Station that I referenced earlier and takes passengers on an excursion into the Adirondack region up to Old Forge or the Thindera area. This year, the trains weren't running, but what they were able to do for visitors is to relaunch their rail bike experience. So there's an image of the scenic rail bikes, and it's a great way to explore the Adirondacks. Easy to pedal, easy to do, children to adults, and really easy to do and enjoyable. And you can choose how long you want to go. So you can take a short excursion one way for 3 miles and they'll take you back, or you can turn your self-pedaled cart around. They'll turn around for you and you pedal back another 3 miles. So a 6-mile trip. It's a lot of fun, highly popular this year. They had a great summer for it. Next slide. And we're home to 2 national parks. Fort Stanwix National Monument is in Rome, New York, and it's a Revolutionary War fort. The unique thing about it is it's a complete reconstruction of the original fort, which had burnt down. And then the city of Rome was built over it over years. And in 1976, in preparation for the country's birthday, the city of Rome excavated and found the original footprint and rebuilt the entire fort to scale from the original plans. So it's a lot of fun, very hands-on. Kids can touch and do all kinds of things that normally in a national park, they would be roped off and told not to touch. So it's open 365 days a year, free admission as well. The other national park that we are home to, the original dig of the Erie Canal, which is now the Erie Canal National Heritage Corridor, part of our national park system. So it is normally navigable from early May until early November. And so we really enjoy that piece of history because it was such a vital waterway that just transformed the United States and the development. So you can get on the water, or you can use the trail system, which is now a part of the new Empire State Trail that's about to be finished here in New York State, creating the largest connected trail system in the United States. Next slide, please. Sylvan Verona Beach, one of my favorite spots, a well-known hidden secret here on the east end of Oneida Lake is Sylvan Beach and Verona Beach State Park. Wonderful summertime destination, great in the fall as well, and then we'll talk about winter too. But home to, it's really a step back in time. Everything is locally owned and operated. In the middle there, you see Eddie's Restaurant, famous for their hot ham sandwich. So everything is locally owned and operated. And the newest addition is the Lake House, which is owned by Turning Stone Resort, and it is a casino as well as a restaurant. And they do have some entertainment as well, with beautiful views of Oneida Lake. It's right on the beach. It's lakefront property. Families love, flock to Sylvan Beach. It's great for reunions, family reunions. We have people that come year after year from all over the country and around the world. Next slide. We have 2 zoos. The Utica Zoo is open 363 days a year and home to our lions, of course, and a whole wide variety of animals. They have wonderful programming throughout the year, especially for children and and families of all types. So then the other one is Fort Rickey Children's Discovery Zoo. Smaller zoo, hands-on, very hands-on. As you can see, this little girl is in the petting zoo area with the goats. And they also have goat yoga that you can enjoy with the pygmy goats and have a lot of fun there. And one of their biggest times of year at Fort Rickey Children's Discovery Zoo is fall. And they have a huge fall event that takes place there, and it's located in Rome, New York as well. Next slide. Turning Stone Resort Casino, I referenced earlier, is located at exit 33 along the New York State Thruway. And those of you that are the AAA members may have seen their information. They are home to 4 diamond properties there. Beautiful properties, complete destination resort with hotel accommodations, 5 golf courses, 20 restaurants, Vegas style gaming, table games, as well as slot machines. It is a quality experience all around, 2 spas as well. So it is a destination in and of itself. And we are so thrilled to have it here because they have been recognized by Condé Nast Johansson as one of the top 25 spas in the world, as well as their restaurants. And again, their AAA 4 diamond accommodations. Next slide, please. Food is always on everybody's mind when you're planning a trip, and where are we going to eat when we get there, and what are we going to do for dinner. So we are home to some eclectic food dishes, which is a lot of fun to promote. But we have a great diverse foodie scene. Really, Utica's diverse population also shows up in our restaurants. But some of the local dishes that you'll find that are favorites are Utica greens, chicken riggies, and tomato pie. So those are definitely dishes you need to try. Make time to try, and you'll find some of them on a lot of the restaurant menus in the area. So easy to find. Next slide, please. Going along with the Brew Central campaign, we also have our Heart of New York Craft Beverage Trail, which is for Oneida County and is promoted through Brew Central as well. And it's includes, excuse me, all of our breweries, wineries, and we do have a distillery as well. And so there are 9 stops. And when you make your way around to all of them, we don't advise trying it all in one day. It's more of a couple of days or a weekend to try to make your way around, because they are spread pretty equally throughout the county. But you stop in, visit, get your card validated, and when you visit it all, then you're able to have to earn your Friends of Fermentation t-shirt. Next slide, please. And then our cheese trail. We're part of the Central New York Cheese Trail, which does include several of us on the panel today. Madison County, Otsego County, Oneida County, and then Herkimer County is also included in this. And similar to the beverage trail, you make your way around and have your card validated. And when you visited all of the cheese stops, you get a cheese tote so that you can keep all of your cheese purchases nice and cool. Next slide, please. And then you can throw in there the barn quilt trail. We like to do things by trail. So we have 8 barn quilts, 8 farms that are on the barn quilt trail that are featuring beautiful representations of quilt blocks that they've chosen for their family farms. Next slide, please. And then the outdoors, as Judy said, the region is full of wonderful ways to explore. Pixley Falls State Park, that's an image there. Great hiking trails, and of course the waterfalls to experience and photograph as well. Madison County and Oneida County have also some itineraries for waterfall trails and hiking throughout the region, and then also canoeing, kayaking, getting on the waterways. There's so many ways to do that. And then on our website, we also have a full page devoted to bike and pedestrian trails with links to all of the maps that you can explore. Next slide, please. And golf is abundant. We have 28 golf courses within 28 minutes of one another. This is a picture of a dune yacht, which is one of the PGA ranked courses owned by Turning Stone Resort in the Oneida Nation. But we have all levels of golf, and it's reasonable, easy access, and hardly any wait for tee times. So a great destination getaway for golf. Next slide, please. And when it comes to other sports, we're also home to curling and the Utica Comets, which is AHL hockey at the Adirondack Bank Center in Utica, as well as the Utica City Football Club indoor soccer arena. So all kinds of professional sports levels to enjoy in the winter months when we're turning in. Right now, Utica Comets, their schedule is not up yet. Everything dealing with COVID, we hope to see that schedule coming soon, as well as the UCFC. Next slide, please. And then moving outside for adventure, we have 560 miles of groomed snowmobile trails that are all connected. Ice fishing on Oneida Lake, as well as several other lakes throughout the county, is abundant and a great family fun thing to do. And then we also have downhill skiing and tubing at Woods Valley Ski Area in Westernville, New York, just outside of Rome. And they have undergone a large expansion to their chalet this year, so that will be great. Next slide. I think that's a little bit of everything. You can find us online on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube for a lot of videos that you can learn more about things you can see and do. And visit us at thegetawayregion.com to plan your next escape, or order a travel guide, or talk with us online and give us a call, and we can help with any of your planning. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Kelly. And now I'm craving chicken riggies. So they're delicious if no one ever had them before.
Delicious.
And I am pleased to introduce Scott Flaherty next, who has served as the Executive Director of Madison County Tourism since April 2013. He's responsible for directing and implementing all marketing and public relations efforts, as well as managing day-to-day operations of the corporation. And Scott is a true New York State ambassador. He used to manage media relations in the state legislature and Empire State Development, which oversees the I Love New York tourism campaign that we're also familiar with. Scott earned his bachelor's degree from St. Bonaventure University and his master's degree in communication from SUNY Albany. And he's currently pursuing a professional certification from Indiana University, Purdue University, Indianapolis. In his free time, Scott enjoys hiking with his wife, daughter, and son. And we all know that hiking in the Empire State was very popular this summer and fall. I'm pleased to introduce Scott, who will share some of Madison County's best kept secrets today.
Well, thank you, Elizabeth, and thank you everyone for having us on. It's a pleasure to speak with everyone. So Madison County is sandwiched right between Kelly's part of the world in Oneida County and Syracuse. And for the record, I want some tomato pie right now. And I'm sure you're seeing some patterns develop here. We, as our neighbors, are known for our outdoors adventures, farm to table restaurants, craft beverages, our arts and culture scene, our beautiful country inns, and our events. And all of these things, we like to say, are in our nature. So hiking and biking, that's literally in our nature, but our warm hospitality, that's figuratively in our nature. And I've got a lot to introduce you to today, but first I'd like to play a quick video, if I may, that'll start telling our story.
Imagine a place of lasting beauty, carved by time and tradition. Seasons of ageless stories to tell and new stories to create. Madison County has been here for generations and will be here for generations to come. A place where your senses will explore the landscapes, nestled in a 12,000-year-old glacial valley, quietly anticipating your return. Madison County, it's in our nature.
Okay. Thank you. So one of the first things I want to talk about today are our hiking opportunities. Chenango Falls, which I believe we have, there it is, nice image of. That's our crown jewel. That is the 167-foot waterfall with a really easy hiking trail. And if I say it's easy, it's easy. That goes down the gorge, across a really pretty footbridge, and then up the other side. It's about an hour loop. And but we do have some more moderate to, I would guess I would say, more difficult hiking trails. One is called Muller Hill State Park, State Forest rather, where you can actually hike to the to an old estate that was owned by a gentleman named Louis A. Muller. Louis A. Muller in 1808 settled here. He escaped the wrath of Napoleon, and eventually, after Napoleon's exile, Louis returned to France and is believed to ascended to the throne as King Charles X. And here in Little Madison County, you can hike to the now dissipated estate out in Muller Hill State Forest. Next slide, please. We have a number of more interesting places to hike as well. This image is from Stone Quarry Hill Art Park. This is an outdoor art space. So as you walk there 4 miles of trails, you'll see statues and more modern art. We also have some great cultural institutions, Oneida Community Mansion House and the Lorenzo State Historic Site, which have some beautiful gardens and beautiful grounds with trails throughout. Next slide, please. So biking, we are fortunate to be here on the Erie Canal Towpath Trail, which connects a great deal of our region. It's wonderfully flat, which is excellent for a novice bike rider such as myself. And we do have some more challenging hills. So for example, if you wanted to ride past Chenango Falls State Park, you would ride from Chenango down the hills and then up the hills down to Cazenovia. You can go right by the waterfalls. We also have plenty of state forests for off-roading. Next slide, please. As Kelly mentioned, we are home to some beautiful waterfalls as well. This is Delphi Falls County Park. It's the newest publicly accessible waterfall in America. And it is actually, if you can believe it, it was a private residence up until it was recently donated to the county. It's a two-tier waterfall. It's about 120 feet tall when you combine them both together. It's amazing. You show up at the parking lot in front of a house, you can hear water, and then as soon as you walk into their backyard, you see this amazing view. And we are proud to say that there is an ADA accessible stone path to the base of the falls. So that way we can all enjoy the mist. Next slide, please. And watchable wildlife. So whether you're looking for, whether you're a birder or you want to go and see some playful foxes or try to find some really cool amphibians with the kids, we have those opportunities. Great Swamp Conservancy. It's known primarily for its birding. It's an IBA National Audubon Society site, important birding area. Roughly 200 species of birds have been found there, and they also have 7 miles of trails. Plenty of frogs to catch too. Next slide, please. And I've talked a great deal about our spring and summer offerings, but of course we do have wonderful 4 seasons of fun. So in the winter we have snowshoeing, cross-country skiing, we have the snowmobile trails. In the spring you can get into maple syrup season with maple candies and pancake breakfast, and then of course now, even though it's waning, is our beautiful fall foliage time, and so it's a great destination. Next slide, please, for 4-season fun. And before I get on to further opportunities here, I just want to call everyone's attention to this great new outdoors adventure map, which includes everything I've talked to thus far. So waterfalls, hiking trails, biking trails, and it's available at madisontourism.com/AAA. And it's special to this audience because we have some extra goodies in there on that site, and I'll tell you more about that in a moment. So next slide, please. As we've seen, we have alcohol here. We have craft beer, wine, cider, and spirits. Our biggest spot would be Good Nature Farm Brewery, and they have a wonderful new brewery with a spacious outdoor beer garden, which is great for the summer and spring and into the fall. And I know Judy touched on it a bit, but just a cool factoid is that in the late 1800s, our area, Central New York, grew 90% of the nation's hops. And we're taking back that claim by growing more hops now and opening up more and more breweries. Next slide, please. And we have some true farm-to-table restaurants. I can tell you, I mean true by the sense of the chef at Madison Bistro. He personally goes to the farm himself, selects his meat, and carries it back into his own restaurant. And you're going to find stores like that throughout. What I also want to mention is that all our restaurants and craft beverages producers are following New York State protocols to help with New York State safety and to combat COVID. In fact, the Brewster Inn, this image here, they just installed UV lighting to help combat COVID-19 and all their inside dining rooms. Next slide, please. And where to stay. So we are fortunate to have the chain hotels that you're familiar with. Some people really just want to know what to expect when they go someplace. For a bit more of an adventure, I would recommend any of our country inns. This year is the Braylock Inn. It's our Scottish inn. And again, it is being held to New York State safety guidelines. And one of our chains, the Hampton Inn in Casanova, is partnering with Lysol and what they call their Clean Stay program. So they already have rigorous cleaning standards, and they've enhanced it with this program. Next slide, please. Another one of our boutique properties is the Colgate Inn. In addition to the beautiful accommodations you see, they do have an on-site restaurant, as does the Braylock and as does the Brewster Inn. So quite often they offer packages, especially in the colder months. So check them out if you're looking for just an easy getaway with a restaurant and a great place to stay all in one building. And of course, they are also doing a great job with sanitizing. They're sanitizing their room keys, the pens, the credit card terminals, the countertops anytime somebody touches them. And they're even offering a really flexible cancellation policy. Next slide, please. So we've got some great family fun opportunities. This image is from Critz Farms, and that is a year-round destination. In the spring, You can get your maple syrup there. In the summer, you can play with the animals, pick blueberries. In the fall, pick pumpkins and apples and go on a corn maze and take a wagon ride. And then in the winter, chop down your own Christmas tree. We also have some other sites as well. Golub's Our Farm has a really cool trebuchet, which is a medieval weapon. It's essentially a catapult, and they take a pumpkin, they put it in the catapult, and about every 20 minutes they throw it about 200 feet in the air, and then just it hits and boom, it is a deafening thud when that thing hits. Wild Animal Park is very similar to Animal Adventure, as Judy mentioned. What I will say though is we are home to lions and tigers and bears, which is great because it's in Chenango. And next slide, please. Which is also home to our Wizard of Oz Museum. So you're wondering, why in the world is there a Wizard of Oz Museum in Chenango? And that is a great question. L. Frank Baum, the author of the Wizard of Oz series, was born in Chenango. And here we have the All Things Oz Museum, which is dedicated to his life and his works. You can see out front, we have yellow brick road sidewalks that go up and down the village. And then inside we have artifacts from his life. So his books and things from his other businesses and his life. We also have artifacts from movies and Broadway that have continued on the Oz legacy. And each summer, early June, there's a festival in Baum's honor where it's a parade, rides, games, authors who've continued the legacy come in. And it's a wonderful opportunity for fans and families alike. One of our other great events is called Open Farm Day, where 40 farms throughout the county are opened up. And you can take in a one day only, go and check out, see where your food comes from, or see where your alpaca sweater comes from. And it's a great opportunity to get in there and experience a farm. Next slide, please. We have a number of exciting events, and one of them is the International Boxing Hall of Fame weekend. The International Boxing Hall of Fame is open year-round here in Canastota, but in the summer they bring in their induction class, and greats from the past come in, modern-day boxers come in. You'll get the opportunity, quite likely, to meet Sugar Ray Leonard, George Foreman, Sylvester Stallone came a few years ago. It's a wonderful opportunity to get and kind of, even just if you're a history buff, to get inside the museum and see the artifacts that they have. And Madison Boutfield Antique Week, it's our largest event, and they bring in about 2,000 vendors each summer in mid-August from around North America to sell their wares. And I'm often asked, what do they have? And of course they have antiques, furniture, silverware, as you can see, but a gentleman once told me, he said, if you can't find it in Boutfield, it probably doesn't exist. And that is true. Very, very true. Of course, many of our events were canceled in 2020, but we're hopeful to see them return next year. Next slide. So we look forward to welcoming you, and I would encourage everyone to go to madisontourism.com/AAA, because there we're making available one free ticket to the International Boxing Hall of Fame. So that is special to this audience. So in addition to the Outdoors Adventure Map, any other materials you'd like, you can grab yourself a ticket. Please contact us with any questions, and you can follow us on social as well. And we look forward to seeing you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Scott. Oh my goodness, that's very generous of you. And I'm looking forward to doing the bear trail. I think that sounds exciting. Our next presenter and welcome is Cassandra Harrington. And Cassandra is the Executive Director of Destination Marketing Corporation. It's a private organization contracted by both Otsego County and Schoharie County of Central New York for the coordination of tourism promotions. Cassandra launched her marketing career in the Finger Lakes wine industry, relocated to Cooperstown in the end of the year, December 2017, to lead up the Destination Marketing Corporation for Otsego and both Schoharie counties. And both of them are abuzz with travel-worthy activities year-round. So again, welcome, Cassandra. Thank you so much for presenting today.
Thanks, Patty. So yeah, I am here to give two different rundowns of different opportunities for visitation in Central New York, and I'll start with the Cooperstown and Otsego County area. Cooperstown, as many people know, is the home to the National Baseball Hall of Fame and the birth of America's pastime, but was recently nominated in one of the 25 best small towns in America by Architectural Digest. And if you could just roll my video here on Cooperstown, just to give a little sampling of what I'll go into in detail.
Today's circumstances don't have to keep you from the things you and your family will discover and love in the Cooperstown area. Schedule a safe and relaxing getaway among the rolling hills. Outdoor adventure on land and water await, everywhere just outside the National Baseball Hall of Fame and Museum. Visit for a road trip, a romantic stay, or a week-long family getaway. You deserve it. Visit thisiscooperstown.com today to begin planning memories for tomorrow.
Short little video just to give you a taste. If you want to advance the next slide, Cooperstown is again in central New York and relatively easily navigable. We can be accessed by both Route 88 and I-90, about a half hour south of 90 and a half hour north of 88. And 1.5 hours from Albany. I mention Albany in particular because of the Albany Rensselaer train station, which you can take up from Penn Station in the city. And there is an Enterprise rent-a-car right in the train station. So we're a very easy visit from New York City. And again, it takes about 4 hours from New York and Niagara Falls. Next slide. So Cooperstown in particular, home of the Baseball Hall of Fame. Wanted to mention that the Baseball Hall of Fame is open year-round. We are welcoming visitors. We have a timed ticket entry system, and they've put in all sorts of safety measures to make sure that they can offer any and all exhibits that they were prior to the pandemic. Every person who comes in is offered a mask if they don't already have one. There's staggered entry. You're also given a stylus to use for the touch displays, so that they didn't have to close off any sections of the museum, and you're getting a full experience. They do offer senior and military discounts, and anybody under 6 years old are free. They're open 9 to 5, 7 days a week. One of the programs that they just recently started offering is called the Starting 9, which offers visitors the opportunity to see must-see artifacts from their favorite teams. So it's a tailored visit for each individual based on their preferences, and it's a one-of-a-kind experience that you gotta see for yourself. Step through history, learning about how baseball shaped our past via the museum, as well as Doubleday Field, which is undergoing some minor renovations to the facade, which actually looks beautiful on Main Street here, just down the street from the Hall of Fame. They're replacing the third baseline bleachers, and they will eventually add in a place that you can rent to host events if you'd like. The field in a normal year is rentable for play as well, and there are tours that are ongoing. And to the home of the Cooperstown Bat Company, where you can see how wooden bats are made. It was established in 1981, making it one of the oldest bat factories in the country. They produce both pro and souvenir bats made out of maple ash and yellow birch from a 350-mile radius of Cooperstown. You can get souvenir bats made. They will do custom engraving while you wait. They have a store right here on Main Street, but their factory is about 10 minutes away in the little hamlet of Hartwick. They also offer weekday factory tours, which are free of charge, and you can see bat turning demonstrations where they bring a log in from outside, and then eventually it becomes a baseball bat. It's quite phenomenal. Next slide. We have a ton of family fun activities here to enjoy the great outdoors. You can experience a themed or scenic train ride. The Cooperstown Charlotte Valley Railroad offers themed rides such as fall scenery. There is a holiday train, there's an Easter bunny train, and there's actually a blues cruise offered during the summer as well, when they have a band that comes in and plays on one of the open air car. The Farmers Museum is a living history museum, and I say for so many folks that it's way cooler than it sounds. It's not just a collection of old tractors. It is a living history museum. You can go in and watch them churning butter, and the blacksmith making tools, and the broom maker, and walk into the Bump Tavern and actually taste some beer made from the area, made with local hops. Like as Scott had mentioned, Cooperstown used to be the heart of the nation's hops production back in the late 1800s. So there is an ode to that at the Farmers Museum. They do have their own hop crop as well. It's a great spot for on-site learning. There's educational programming, as well as just plain old fun. The farm animals are available to interact with, which is really popular with the kids. They offer workshops, performing arts. This location is actually a beautiful spot for little micro weddings. And one of my favorites is home to the Empire State Carousel, which has 25 hand-carved animals indigenous to New York, and it took over 1,000 artist volunteers to assemble it in lots of years. But it's beautiful, stunning. The Fly Creek Cider Mill, open year-round, has been pressing cider for over 160 years, and they have it set up so that you can do a self-guided tour no matter what time of the year, whether they're pressing cider or not, which only happens during the fall. They have signage and everything set up so that you can actually feel like you're witnessing the pressing process even when it's not occurring. In a normal year, they have over 40 food samples, which also makes it super exciting for me. Don't go right before lunch. And fun for the kids, they have a little tractor land and a mill pond with a ton of waterfowl. Barnyard Swing and Family Fun Center offers mini golf and ice cream, laser tag, and this coming season they're going to have beer on tap. So the kids can go play and the adults can hang out, have an ice cream cone, and drink some beer while they're at it. Just wondered about a beer float. I hope they're doing beer floats. I don't know if that's a thing. And paint your own pottery. Next slide, please. Craft beverage, you're definitely sensing some themes here. We are Central New York. We have in Otsego County 9 breweries, 3 wineries, 1 distillery, and a cidery. Brewery Omegang is one of our flagships here in the county. They do produce the Game of Thrones themed beers, very popular. And 2, we have new to the scene, High Burl. And they are in a very bucolic setting right next to and shared property with the Rustic Ridge Winery. And it's a great 2-stop shop. I love it. If you like beer and wine, or you have a split family or split interest group. The Cooperstown Distillery offers their wonderful distilled products in a patented baseball decanter, which makes a great souvenir. They sell them full and empty. Why anybody would buy an empty one, I don't know, but I'll empty it for them. My favorite from the Cooperstown Distillery is the Fenimore Gin, and it's especially wonderful on the veranda at the Otsego any time of year. One of the greatest things about the Omegang location, and it's a rural setting just outside of the village, it's right next to Red Shed Brewery, which is newish to the scene, but definitely worth the stop. If you're going to one, you have to go to the other. And to the Cooperstown Brewing Company and many others. So we are sometimes known, and you can find t-shirts that say that Cooperstown is a drinking town with a baseball problem. Next slide. Arts and culture. We have a wonderfully high concentration of artists for a baseball town. As you can see on the little putting creativity on the map there, we have many arts locations, whether they be galleries or sculpture parks. We actually have an outdoor sculpture park in Gilbertsville, which is the entire village is on the National Registry of Historic Places. The village was saved from, they were going to flood it and erase the village from the map, but some locals stepped in and saved the village. So it was, I believe, one of the first villages ever designated as a National Historic Place. The Fenimore Art Museum, a fabulously wonderful collection of arts, and they are currently offering through December 3rd an exhibit of photographs from Pete Souza, the official White House photographer for both Ronald Reagan and Barack Obama. And he will have a live Q&A session on November 1st at 2 o'clock if you are interested in tuning into that. The little picture here in the bottom left-hand side is of the Art Garage, which is a really intimate setting out in the country that has rotating exhibits by appointment. And one of my favorite things that they have there is artwork by Laverne Kelly. He is local to Cooperstown and made hand-carved wooden toys that look so real. He actually was able to take them out and stage them in their natural setting to a point where the photos of the wooden toys look like real trucks on a farm. And so there's some of the toys and some of the photos in the Art Garage, in addition to rotating exhibits, and I love that about it. Glimmerglass Film Day, we have a massive film festival that has gone virtual this year. It'll be November 5th to the 11th, and you should definitely check that out. And lastly, the Glimmerglass Festival. They are a massive opera house on the lake in a beautiful setting. The sides of the building retract for intermission on nice days. It's wonderful. And the late Ruth Bader Ginsburg used to make frequent visits. It was one of her favorite opera houses. This year's season was supposed to have The Sound of Music, Rinaldo, Don Giovanni, Jungle Book, and the best part, well, another great thing about it is that it's got a beautiful grounds with tons of picnic tables, and they highly encourage you to bring your own picnic and have a meal before the production and really enjoy the setting. So it's something that you probably wouldn't experience anywhere but Cooperstown. Next slide, please. Outdoor activities, we have 14 square miles of water in Otsego County, to include numerous lakes, and most notably Otsego Lake, coined Glimmerglass by James Fenimore Cooper. And Otsego Lake serves as the mouth of the Susquehanna. Otsego is a Mohawk or Oneida word for place of the rock. And right at the mouth of the river is a big rock called Council Rock, which used to serve as a meeting place for the Iroquois Indians. And so a lot of Council Rock themed things around here. But because of our waterways, we're great for ice fishing, regular fishing. We've got cross-country skiing, snowshoeing, stand-up paddleboard, kayaking, boating, etc. The Leatherstocking Golf Course is at the Otsego Resort and was once called the most scenic and challenging resort golf course on the East Coast. That's the photo you see in the bottom right, where there's actually a hole that's accessible over the lake via a bridge, and you actually tee off out in the lake back to shore. Only the skilled make it back. And the Otsego Golf Club, established in 1894, is one of America's oldest golf courses, and it's also located on the lake shore here, just north of Cooperstown. Next slide. Good eats. We have some amazing food establishments around here. Brooks Barbecue is home to the largest indoor charcoal barbecue pit in the East. Some fabulous chicken. It's so funny when I see people make recommendations for what to do in and around Cooperstown. Brooks always makes the list. It's down in Oneida, down near 88, very accessible and surrounded by a lot of antique shops, which is pretty cool. And then we've also got Origins Cafe. It's seasonal, but that's the top right photo there is it's a restaurant inside a greenhouse. And so you're eating the freshest of ingredients that were picked that morning. And it's like an oasis. I love it, highly recommend it. And Schneider's Bakery, everybody knows that, right across the street from my office here. It's wonderfully horrible to smell donuts all day. And Belgian Fair at Brewery Omegang. Council Rock Brewery just announced their regular German night. The Otsego, the Hawkeye at the Otsego has an international night during the winters. I believe it's typically on Wednesdays, but it could be different this year, where they offer different food from a different country throughout the world during the winter. So we never go hungry here in the Cooperstown area, and to lakeside dining. Next slide. And just some planning trips just to remind everybody you can't really trust what you see online for all of hours and everything. So please, please, please call ahead, verify hours, make sure they're open, especially now as the seasons shift. Some people are also transitioning to winter hours. Make dining reservations. Because of COVID, at all of New York State restaurants are limited in their dining room capacity. So a lot of them are requiring or recommending reservations, and we don't want anybody to be waiting. Pack your masks. Cooperstown has a masks on main policy to protect both our visitors and our residents. And so we thank you for being compliant. And to double check any New York State travel advisories. Currently, there are some travel advisories from a lot of different states that would require a quarantine. So we would definitely make sure that you check the New York Forward website before visiting. Next slide. And our contact information. There are 3 of us here in the office. If you have any questions about Cooperstown and Otsego County, you can contact myself or Lakin and Jacqueline, and we will be here to answer any questions and help you with your travel planning. And then I take off my baseball hat and I put on a headdress and I talk about Schoharie County. So if you could roll the Schoharie County video that I have to share with everybody.
Visit Schoharie County to discover the great outdoors on miles of wooded hiking trails and in mysterious underground worlds. Savor farm-to-table cuisine in elegant restaurants and cozy cafes, or take home farm fresh goodness from our bountiful farm stands. Explore your inquisitive side and your adventurous side.
Discover Schoharie County.
Schoharie County, it's a beautiful thing. Come for a day or stay overnight in Schoharie County, yours to discover, to savor, and explore.
And explore. Schoharie County, it's a beautiful thing. And so Schoharie County, as you can see, is just east of Otsego County and Cooperstown, the furthest eastern county in central New York. So it's very accessible from the Schenectady, Albany capital region, and just 3 hours from New York City and Rochester, 4 hours from Philadelphia. And next slide. One of our specialties would be specialty shops. We are known for a wide variety of locally made products, souvenirs, and more. And so I would have to mention the famous, fabulous Beekman Boys that have a shop in Sharon Springs, as well as their farm that's not far away. They often host private events that you can attend on the farm, meet the boys, and the Beekman Mercantile actually in this past February had an agreement and changed the facade of their shop to the Rose Apothecary, for those of you who are familiar with Schitt's Creek. But that has since changed, and they have a ton of skincare and body care products, as well as holiday gifts, and they're open 7 days a week from 10 to 6. Also in Sharon Springs and right next door is the Cobbler & Co., which has multiple themed rooms of souvenir gift items. And Sharon Springs itself is just a wonderful little shopping stop. I could spend all day there. There's a new place called Botany, and they do dried floral arrangements, as well as selling all sorts of decorative house plants, and it's splendid. And next to Botany is Sharon Spriggs, and she has a farm in Schoharie County, and then she farms a lot of flowers and also too does decorative arrangements and has a lot of decor for sale in the shop. Under the nose, the middle picture is another great spot just under Roman's Nose, one of our greatest hiking spots and viewing locations in Schoharie County, and you have to try the fudge while you're there. She's also got a bunch of local pottery, and it's a great lunch spot. So either prior to or after your hike, visit Under the Nose while you're there. And the other picture is the Apple Barrel Store and Cafe. Again, another great spot to eat, but many themed rooms, and they have all sorts of mums and pumpkins. It's a great place to visit during the fall, but year round, lots of things to do with the Apple Barrel. Next slide. One of Schoharie County's claims to fame is really all of the farm stands and the fresh produce that you could get while you're here. Known as the breadbasket of the American Revolution. We were the center of all of the agricultural base that was used to feed the troops. And you can find anything from produce, maple syrup, eggs, cider, meats, honey, herbs, pumpkins, jams, fudge, and more. And a lot of them, they're either at massive establishments like the Carrot Barn at Schoharie Valley Farms and Barber's Farms, or roadside stands that are based on the honor system, where you plop your $1 in and you walk away with your half a dozen ear of corn. So we highly encourage you to visit our farm stands. And similar to what Scott said too, the Cornell Cooperative Extension typically hosts a day in August called Family Farm Day. And that is a conglomerate of Otsego County, Schoharie County, and Delaware County farmers that also invite people onto their farm. You can see where your food's coming from and get a insulated tote and really live the farm life for a day. Next slide. We now have a rejuvenated Schoharie County beverage trail that has 5 members. Grapevine Farms Wine Cellar. If you've never been, the Grapevine Farms is another many themed room gift shop, which also has a restaurant on site. It's a beautiful location, but they've recently added and expanded a wine cellar downstairs, and they're part of the beverage trail, along with Sirius Brewing, Middleburg Winery, Green Wolf Brewing, and 1857 Spirits. They produce potato vodka using potatoes from the family farm and water from their own spring, which makes it very good, authentic vodka. And 2, then we have Scrumpy U Cider, which offers only dry, handcrafted cider made in the foothills of the Catskill Mountains. Scrumpy is actually the name for the unfiltered farmhouse cider used across the pond. And then U is a word for the horned female sheep that graze the cider orchards. Just a little info tidbit. Next slide. Museums and historic sites. We have the Iroquois Indian Museum. Central New York and Schoharie County in particular is home to the Iroquois Nation, and so we have the museum there that honors the arts and the history and the culture of Iroquois, and they are offering a series of virtual events right now, as the museum is currently closed temporarily. And so we encourage you to check out their website and Facebook page. The New York Power Authority offers interactive hands-on exhibits showcasing how water power is made and how it can become a major source of electricity in New York State. The Old Stone Fort Museum is an ode to Schoharie County's history and its role in the American Revolution, multiple acres and many buildings showcasing everything that that Schoharie County brought to the those efforts. And I mentioned too, we have a ton of different opportunities for additional on-site learning for different topics. So too, there's the Cave House Museum of Mining and Geology, the 1743 Palatine House, which depicts 18th century life, and many more. Next slide. Natural attractions. We have 2 New York State parks, 16 state forests, a state-sanctioned wildlife management preserve, 626 square miles, and 4.5 square miles of that is water, mostly the Schoharie Creek and the foothills of the Catskill Mountains. We have the Landis Arboretum, which is known as the Schoharie County Tree Museum. It's an old growth forest, and it has over 8 miles of hiking trails, very much worth checking out. Howe Caverns, the second most visited natural attraction in New York State, just behind Niagara Falls, actually. And they have a waterway in the cavern, and you can take a boat ride on your tour. It is 150 feet below ground. Next to Howe Caverns is Secret Caverns, that they run parallel, and that has an underground waterfall that you can see. They're very popular for their boisterous signage that you can see throughout the county. If you've ever seen any of their billboards, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Also to Minekill State Park, which has 6.5+ miles of trails, an Olympic-sized pool, and lots of room for snowmobiling. They too have a beautiful waterfall. And Roman's Nose, which I've mentioned before, but if you ever get a chance, that is a relatively mild uphill hike. I believe it's a mile up, and it has a fabulous viewing point of the entire Schoharie, well, not a good portion of the Schoharie Valley, and highly recommended if you're visiting Schoharie County. Next slide. And with that, we have a wide variety of outdoor recreational opportunities with hiking, biking, fishing, kayaking, etc. I also have to mention Gobbler's Knob Family Fun Park, which has a mini golf course, and it's not far from Howe Caverns. A lot of folks, since Howe Caverns is doing timed entries, are going to Gobbler's Knob, putting in a round of miniature golf, and then going through the caverns. Muscle Motor Speedway, Broome Animal Sanctuary, Schoharie Valley Kayak Rentals, and Cobleskill Golf Club, and we too have a Schoharie County Quilt Barn Trail, which was very popular during quarantine. Everybody wanted to get out and about, but didn't have to leave their car, so it's wonderful. Next slide. And this is an announcement and invitation to check out the brand new Schoharie County Eagle Trail, which will have 10 observation points in various locations with additional hotspots identified for seasonal viewing. They have a website, and they're working on the production of a map and visual resources to help people find the eagles. There are a ton of them, and birding is actually a $40 billion a year industry, and so we're excited to capitalize on this, realizing that we've got what they're looking for, and birds of prey are amongst the most popular and sought after for the birders of the world. They just had their very first kickoff event, which was an educational session 2 weekends ago, and they're working on developing signage. But the eagle is recognized by the Iroquois Nation as the protector of peace, and so we welcome all of you to visit Schoharie County, where you can catch your breath and enjoy everything there is to do outside, and all of our rich history and agricultural offerings. And so then if you have any questions about Schoharie County, you can contact myself or Aaron with any questions, and we're happy to help you with your planning.
Wow, Cassandra, you had a lot that you covered there. And thank you. I know it was difficult because you had 2 different counties to cover, but you did an excellent job. Thank you so much. I personally want to say thank you to all of our speakers, Judy, Kelly, Scott, and Cassandra. I'd also say thank you to Elizabeth Carey for joining, and Janet Brown, Mark, and Alec for all of their support. Could not do it without them. And I'm going to turn it over to Elizabeth now to see if she wants to add some closing words.
Oh, thank you very much, Patty. Thank you to all of our panelists. I know we went a little over, but there was so much to learn about Central New York, and I think it just seems like an incredible place to visit, and we're sure hope that everyone will take advantage of reaching out to all the speakers who joined us today for more information to make sure you can get your getaway on the books, because it sure would be fun to have something to look forward to, knowing that you do have something planned to go on an adventure in Central New York.
Thank you again. Appreciate it, everyone. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you so much for the opportunity. And thank you, Mark, behind the scenes.
Thanks.
Take care, everyone. Bye.